Hey guys, welcome to Convos on the Couch. We're so excited. This is our first ever episode. We're so stoked for it. You stoked?
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Grayson's been a bit stubborn and not going to sleep, so he's going to join us as well. Aren't you? Yeah. This is ministry. Hey, this is what I love. Convos on the Couch. It's about being real, about being transparent. So it's so good. So Convos on the Couch is targeted for high schoolers. And the reason why we're doing Convos on the Couch is because Tamara and I both have a heart and a passion to see young people go from where they are into what God's called them to be. So that's what we want to do. We want to grow, we want to inspire so that high schoolers, teenagers can walk in all that God's got for them and live their best life, which is so cool. And so for our first episode, we're super excited to have TJ and Mia join us. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. We're so excited. And Mia, why don't you we'll give you 10 seconds to tell us what you do as part of Young Royals.
So we're both squad mentors, but we have a really fun time connecting with kids and just having a bunch of fun.
So good. Well done. I'm pretty sure that was under 10 seconds too. Well done. All right, TJ, you can't steal anything that Mia's said, so you got to come up with something new. All right, 10 seconds.
For time? No. All right.
No. Go.
No, I think it's just about building relationship with some awesome young people and helping them live their lives better. That's the main goal. Yeah.
So good. So good. Love it. Love it. So guys, tonight with our first episode, we are doing a timely subject, and that is, what do you mean? And it's all about how we act and portray ourselves online. So that's so cool. I think it's a very timely thing to be talking about. So firstly, TJ and Mia, what social media platforms are you guys on?
Heaps. Yeah. Heaps of it.
We're both on Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram and TikTok. Do you have
what
Twitter?
else? I've got Twitter, I've got LinkedIn. So you guys, all you youth watching, you'll have to get LinkedIn eventually. Especially when you get into the professional world. Even some platforms where you just connect with people while you're building connection via an online controlled sort of environment where you're playing as a character.
So in other words, you're playing games.
Growing the world. Playing games, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I think that's us. I think we're the same. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
I don't really have Snapchat.
You don't? Nah,
No,
Snapchat is probably that's probably nah. I do have a Twitter account. I do have a LinkedIn account.
Don't use it.
But yeah, I don't use it. I'm thinking about jumping back on Twitter and using Twitter a bit more, but we'll see how that goes. So cool. All right, what's our first, I guess, real question?
So the first question is, why do you think it's a necessity for high schoolers to have social media?
Oh, good question.
So we'll go to Mia. Why do you think it's a necessity, Mia?
So I guess for me as a teenager, it was a necessity because everyone else had it around me. So from a very young age, I was friends with a lot of older teenagers who had social media. So for me, it was just like I needed social media to connect with those people. And especially I jumped on social media just to connect with people overseas, that was my family. So I guess social media for teenagers could be interacting with their friends and connecting with people and family. So that's why what they might think that it's a necessity. But
yeah, I think quite honestly, I think what maybe sparks the view of necessity for social media is just fitting in, really, because they'll see their friends get it, and they'll feel like they can't fit in with the group. It's everyone feels awkward when they're part of a conversation that they can't relate to, and they just have to stand there. Have you seen this video? Oh, no, I haven't. Oh, what about this one? Oh, no, I haven't. And they want to be able to make friends, so they feel that to successfully sort of get the friends that they're after, social media is a big part of that.
Wow.
You know, have conversation topics, but like in person, but also be able to chat to people, you know, online after school.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's turned into, would you guys agree, a way that high schoolers and teenagers communicate, and then yet also a necessity to be engaged in certain social circles.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't necessarily see that like as something that could automatically be, you know, turned into a negative thing for fitting in. Absolutely, there's potential there for, you know, depending on what social circles people are trying to fit into and what sort of path they head down with social media. But I think there's, you know, potential for them to, if they're following the right things, maybe, you know, encourage other people as well. So
I think too, for high schoolers, it's also about them being able to contact their friends that they may not see all the time. Like their sports friends, or for example, like in youth, their youth friends that they don't see during the week, but they can still contact them during the week via social media.
Yeah, and it's interesting, like when well, I know when I was growing up, we were growing up, if we wanted to contact people, we'd pick up a phone and actually call them or send a text message. And it's funny that, well, your phones can still do that, yet there's all these other platforms that, you know, high schoolers and teenagers prefer to communicate by, and it's fascinating. Kind of a question: why do we think that's changed? Why do we think we've gone from picking up a phone and having a phone call or sending a text message to sending a message on Facebook or doing a you know, a DM on Instagram?
I think it's because most of those social media platforms offer a lot more than just texting. So teenagers, like, I know on my social media feeds, I'm really careful about who I follow, and making sure they're people who are encouraging and people that are really positive, just for my self-awareness and self-being, I guess. But yeah, it basically, like, for example, if you're sending a DM on Instagram, you're already on there having a scroll anyway, so people can like see a post from someone and be like, oh, I'm just going to message them on here anyway. So yeah, I think as more social media platforms arise, obviously people are going to take a hold of that and then start using those more instead of just a text or a phone call.
Yeah, it's more of like a convenience thing. Hey, I'm on here, I might as well use it, sort of thing.
And when they do comment on a post or like on a story, they're then sparking that conversation as well, and the conversation starts flowing as well. So they're already there. They're not going to like finish that conversation and then go to their message and message them if they just continue.
Because I'm sure there's, you know, there's parents out there that, you know, our generation or an older generation be like, well, what happened to the good old days where you just pick up a phone and call someone? So yeah, it's great insight to those parents to understand, well, hey, we're on here anyway, you know, looking at some Instagram photos, looking at Facebook statuses. Let's send them a message and be like, oh, hey, I haven't spoken to so-and-so in a couple of months. That's a really cool holiday they went on. I'll send them a message. Be like, hey, your holiday looks really good. How you been? You know, let's catch up, sort of thing. So that's awesome. So good.
Okay, so next question. For those on social media, why is it important that we act a certain way? Or we could rephrase that question. How you know, why is it important to be appropriate on social media?
I guess I was taught from a really young age to always be careful about what you put on social media because it can always be tracked. No matter if you delete it or no matter whatever happens, it can always be tracked and be found. So I guess a way that it is important to act a certain way is that it can always be tracked back, and block whoever you like, you can do all of that, but someone's always going to see it. And especially if you're looking to one day get a job or do whatever, like eventually looking into the future, people are going to be looking at your social media accounts, and the amount of employers that look at your Facebook account or look at your Instagram account while they employ you is a big deal. So be careful what you put on social media. And obviously you don't want to be putting anything negative on social media, because that might hurt people that follow you or whatever. So making sure you put positive things and encouraging things and things that make people smile.
Yeah. And like Mia, you're sorry TJ, but Mia, you're like a bit of a manager, sort of high important person at your job. Is that something that you've done for like new employees or employees?
For sure. Like I'm not I'm not involved in the employment process, but as soon as I see someone's name pop up, I'm on Facebook straight away. Looking at who they are, what they're doing. And of course, when you see something on there that's not of the greatest quality, you're like, oh, okay, I'll have to see them. But it's almost that automatic judgment that we shouldn't have, but it's an innate judgment that most people have. So yes, it is important not to judge people, but also just be like aware that people are very judgmental, and especially people that, you know, don't have that understanding.
Yeah, and I think it's a fine line between judgment and perception. You know, like if you're constantly posting stuff about you know, getting a bit loose at parties and all that sort of stuff, well, people are going to have the perception of what type of person you are. They're not necessarily judging you for it, but they've certainly got that perception that you're the type of person to go out and get a little bit loose at parties. And from an employer point of view, if you're rostered on a, you know, Saturday morning, you know, and if you're a party person, well, chances are some Saturday mornings you're going to call in sick because, well, you've a little bit worse for wear after the previous night. So exactly. So TJ, you were saying something before?
Yeah, no, well, that's sort of a good segue into what I was thinking on that, which was, I think it's really about knowing who you are, quite honestly. People have who they are in person and they have who they are online. And it's not just about, you know, pandering to a certain platform. You can look that word up if you need, but it's not about just sort of, you know, becoming a certain person for a certain platform and wording things in a certain way. It's people act quite differently on social media than they do in person. And I think the question to ask yourself is why? Why am I different online than I am in person? And am I being truly myself online, or am I being truly myself in person, or am I not being truly myself at all? Am I half myself online and am I half myself in person?
Yeah.
I think it's really important to figure out who we are as a person, and as a Christian, as a Christ follower, who we are, and make that a consistent thing, whether it's in person, online, social media, it doesn't matter where we are. Because one thing that people may not have realized just yet is consistency equals credibility.
Yeah.
So if we're consistently the same person, we're able to have credibility and respect from the people around us, whether that's our friends or even our parents. You know, it's hard for people to respect and trust us. It's hard for people to respect and trust us if we're acting like a different person at any one time, because they don't. You can't trust a fake person. You can't. So I think if we can figure out who we are, we build that respect and that trust from people that we can be an influence in our friends' lives. We maybe get a little bit more trust from our parents too, which I'm pretty sure every youth would want a little bit more trust from their parents. But it's a good thing to figure out who we are and become that, whether we're online or in person. I think, if we can act like that, we're helping people become better and we're helping ourselves become better.
Yeah, and what you've said, it reminded me of the close off to Craig Rochelle. So if you're a a leader or anyone in a leadership position, highly encourage you to jump on the Craig Rochelle podcast. And he signs off his every episode by saying, everyone will value a leader that is always real over the one that is always right. And so relating that to social media, you have so many people, especially on TikTok. TikTok is obviously massive on trends. What's trending at the moment. And you see all the big social media influencers on TikTok, they're doing the dances or putting the songs up that are trending at the moment. Whether or not that's compromising their values, obviously, we don't know. But my guess is that perhaps sometimes it does, because they're chasing, those views. They're chasing that influence on social media rather than being real. And I think a lot of people are chasing what's real now rather of what's fake and chasing trends.
And just to sort of elaborate on that, it's when you say being real, it's, for those listening, it's not about putting every possible thing up on Facebook or Instagram. It's not about going, had an argument with my parents, I'm going to post that online because it's real. We're not up there to just put every aspect of our life up there. Because again, we need to be looking at who we are. If we've had an argument with our parents, just to use that same example, before we post anything online, we should be looking at ourselves and going, hey, maybe there was something that I've done that I can reflect on. And then maybe the opportunity to post online is, hey guys, just wanted to put this out there. Had a disagreement with my parents, but had some time to reflect, and turns out they were right. And I've actually decided to, do this. Hopefully this helps some other people out there.
For sure.
It's that's the realness. We've got to take a step back, not just put everything out there in one go. So
yeah, for sure. And we're being real right now. Tamara's up to the side here trying to put Bub to sleep. We're not sugarcoating it or magic trickery editing and all that sort of stuff. This is us just being real, and that's so good. And it brings me to something that I want to speak to every young person listening. Is one thing that you should do before you click that post button or before you send whatever you want to send is what I'm about to do going to uplift or downgrade anyone that views this? And what you said there, TJ and Mia, what you've mentioned before is being careful, and I think that's one of the biggest things that we can be careful of is, all right, well, if this isn't going to uplift someone, if this isn't going to go back to, what we're doing Convos on the Couch for, is if this isn't going to help bring someone from where they are now closer to Jesus, I'm not going to post it. And that's so good. I think if people just adapt that, even if you just take the Jesus out of it, we're Christians, so Jesus is in everything. But if people are watching this and you're like, well, that's not where I'm at the moment, hey, all good. If we just think, if what I'm about to post right now isn't going to better someone out there, don't post it. Don't post it. And great example, you could take that negative example of having a fight with your parents or disagreement with your parents, turn it into a positive so it can better somebody.
Absolutely.
But you've left still honoring your parents, honoring yourself, showing yourself some integrity and all that sort of stuff as well. So so good, so good. All right, so sorry.
There's something that I've always I always kind of tell kids, and that is the word think. So is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind?
So good.
And you could take that in everyday life, but also I think it's really important to take that in social media.
Yeah.
If you're, Josh was saying, is it helpful? But think of before you send that post, before you push send, just have a think. Use that word.
Awesome. We're going to throw that in the description as well. That anagram there, so you can copy and paste that. You can put it on your mirror or your fridge or whatever, so that Have it as your wallpaper on your phone. There you go. If you're really struggling, that way you post it. All you got to do is go to your wallpaper and there you go.
I also think as Christians, there is some people that are watching that might be at that stage, but as Christians, we need to be that example. We got friends that are looking at our social media, and they could be looking at something that we're posting and be like, oh, I thought they were Christian.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that they said that they were Christian, and is what you're posting something that a Christian should post?
Yeah.
Like what would Jesus think if he was in the room?
That old saying, WWJD, it's been around for
WWJP, what would Jesus post?
Yeah, so good. Bring that back.
So we need to be mindful of that as Christians as well, what we're posting. Is it going to offend someone, or is it going to make someone question what our beliefs actually are?
Okay. All right, Mia, I'm going to direct this question at you, and that is, do you think social media has helped or hindered our ability to relate with each other in person?
I think both. So I think it helps people relate to each other because they're seeing what they're doing on social media, and as Tamara said before, if they see, say, someone baked a bunch of cookies, and then you see that person and you're like, oh my gosh, I saw you bake those really cool cookies, what's the recipe? So yes, you can relate to that person, but also I think when it comes to in person, we can often take social media as an out instead of talking. So I know, when you go to restaurants or whatever, and you see people scrolling through their Facebook
on their
phones, and it's like it hinders the connection and the conversation that's directly in front of you.
Yeah.
So I think it's both. It can obviously enhance what we're doing and enhance the connection because you see what they're doing when they're posting stuff on social media, and you can form conversations. But if you're constantly scrolling when you're with that person or on your phone while you're at an event, then that can hinder what you're doing.
Could I add another example to that? I definitely have the same opinion. I think it's both. For example, to use something super relevant like TikTok. Now, if everybody's seen the same dance and learnt the same dance, you all get together, let's say at youth, and we're all doing the same dance, and it's like we're all taking videos. We've taken 7 cuts of the same dance because we're loving it. It's great. We're having a great time. That's helping us relate. That's helping us connect. That's building connection. That's a great thing. But also, don't let it hinder us by being the only thing we can connect on. Right? So if we can use social media as a way to engage and connect with people at the start, that's a great thing. And maybe maintain a relationship, but don't let it just end there. Don't be afraid to go a little deeper with the connection and genuinely ask. Don't just do TikTok dances, for example. Ask how someone's been and get to know them and genuinely build a relationship there that's deeper than just a TikTok dance or a meme page or something like that,
So do you think the social media
build
has
relationships deeper than memes? That should be
I love it. So do you think social media has I guess hindered relationships in that it's stopped us from developing those deeper connections?
I don't think it's stopped us, but I think it provides an opportunity to stop the build of relationship. So I think it's a great start, especially among teenagers. I think it's an awesome way to connect with people. But what I think it's about is going, all right, I'm a Christian, or as you said, for those people that aren't quite there yet, but are looking to still better the lives of their friends and things like that, still wanting to build better lives for those around them. It's about going, okay, I want to just be a little bit more mature about this and go, okay, I'm still having a great time. I'm not going to stop, you know, building relationship through social media, but I'm not going to leave it there. It's I don't think it has caused a way to stop it. I think it's just got the potential to. So we've just got to be mindful the same way we would in person. It's no different. You talk to someone in person, you find out you both like something, you both like the same band. But if that's all you ever talk about every time you speak to them, the relationship never gets any deeper. So it can happen in person as well as online. So I think this is more of a life thing that we can apply to social media as well.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So the next question is I think it's going to be a help to parents as well to this. And Mia, we'll come back to you with this one. Is what perceptions do parents have about social media? And kind of a second part to that question is, are they justified?
I think a lot of parents, I'm just going to go off my experience because this is what my parents did.
For sure.
So my parents didn't grow up with social media, and a lot of kids' parents wouldn't have grown up with social media.
No.
So I think a lot of the perceptions around social media is that it's bad and that like you're only on there to do bad stuff, and that could be a perception. But also I think some parents are under the like they have the perception that it can be good if it's used wisely. So I think, and also there's a lot of like parents worry and parents care for their kids, so they obviously don't want them.
It's the job of a parent.
They're supposed to worry and care for you, and I think a lot of what perceptions parents have around social media comes from worry but also caring. So I think any kids listening or any youth kids listening, like just understand that your parents are there to care for you and worry, like that's what they do. But I think they are justifiable in some cases. Obviously it's very different between each thing, but I think it depends on what the perception is. And
Babe, what do you reckon?
Well, I think that
because we're parents, so like let's fast forward 10 years, if not less.
I think that that parents' perceptions, it's definitely, it's definitely there, and I think that that most of them are actually justifiable because they haven't had social media and they don't want their kids to get hurt, or they don't want their kids to be put in a position where they don't know what to do. But I think it comes down to like the parents just want the best for their children.
For sure.
And the parents want the best for their children in everything, but they want to protect them, and that's perfectly normal as for a parent. I think that if the parent sits down with the child and explains to them, well, the child, but the youth, and talks to them and tells them what they expect, and what their perception is, but like how they can go around that, so they're actually being open with them, being vulnerable. And another way to work around that too is to make sure that their TikTok, Facebook, Instagram account is actually private as well. So no one else can see anything as long as you're friends with them. Like all my profiles, they're all private because obviously I post photos of my kids and I don't want anyone being able to see that. So that's one way to work around it. But I think that parents, they have every right to feel that way.
Yeah, for sure. And TJ, would you agree with this statement that I think the best way, and kind of following on what Tamara said, but the best way, or one of the best ways, parents can kind of work with their teenager and their high schooler is like what Tamara said, get alongside with them, explain why they feel the way they feel, why they have these concerns, and look to work with the teenager, the high schooler, to reach a mutual understanding on how to move forward with their social media presence. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. I think, I'm not a parent, So I'm not here telling anyone how to parent their teenagers or their kids or anything like that. But I think if we can all get a better understanding of the platforms, the benefits and the risks and how to use it and how to better operate it, that takes out any fear, and it also helps build trust. I've seen lots of things, and not on social media, where the parents have become more involved in the teenager or kids' lives after they did that. So, for example, one is Terry Crews. He had a fear that his son was actually gaming and getting into the gaming world, and he started to worry about what they could be and what they could do, and he took a different tact, and he actually built a gaming computer with his son, and he jumped right on board, and he just got into it, and that took out the fear from him as a parent, but it also built trust between their relationship, and it allowed his like teenager to go, you know, I'm not here, you know, I can have a great time and not, you know, go down any sort of path that might be like negative for me. So building that relationship and doing social media with your parents, I think is a cool thing. Get them involved. If you see something funny, show them. You know, show them what you're liking and what you're not. Don't make it hidden. Don't try and cover anything up. But yeah, as far as that goes, I think absolutely building relationships and connecting on it's a great thing.
Because like we were like, we're young parents, like none of our kids are on social media. You know, but we were teenagers. You know, you guys were teenagers. You guys were teenagers a little bit nearer to this time than we were. But I think for us, what we would have liked, like, social media was really just taking off when we were teenagers. You know, it was MSN and MySpace, you know, when we first started dating. So, and, you know, it's obviously exploded since then. But what I think worked with us is just our parents just being open with us and just explaining their concerns and working with them. So good. All right, guys, we're running out of time here. So I want one last 2-second thought from TJ to wrap us up. We'll go around. So TJ, one last thought.
Okay. Last thought, final thought is start to look into who you are and who you want to be, and figure that out, who you want to be as a person, as a Christian, and stop being two different people online and in person. Just become who you are as a Christ follower, and spread that encouragement around in person and online.
So good. All right, Mia, your final thought.
Be smart, be kind, and be encouraging when online.
So good. So good. My final thought is this: be real. Be real.
Still mine.
Sorry. Be real. Be honest. There's only enough space for one of you. All right. Don't treat, you know, it's too exhausting for me to try and be me. I don't need to try and be anyone else. And I'm sure there's other people out there. Just be you. Don't follow trends. Follow Christ.
That's good. That's good.
Last thought.
On that, what you were saying, be you. An original is worth far more than a copy.
Yeah, so good.
So just
That's
be
great.
you, and you know, when you're you and when you're real, people see that you're you and you're real. But when you don't be you and you don't be real, people see right through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, we need to be ourselves and be real on social media and off social media. Because if we're someone, like TJ was saying, if we're someone different, people are going to see it.
They'll see it.
But, you know, in social media too, like, don't think that all of this, like, oh, I can't have fun on social media. Of course you can.
I have so much fun on social media.
You can have fun still. Like,
yeah, we have so much fun.
Have fun, but be real.
Yeah, that's it. You can still have so much fun. You know, do filters and boomerangs of you guys, you know, slurping down some strawberry thick shakes at Macca's, you know. Share the memories and moments that you guys have. you know, rather than, you know, rubbish. So, hey guys, thank you guys, TJ and Mia. Appreciate you guys. For those watching, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the like button, and you could do us a massive favor, is pick one friend, and just share this video with your friend. I'm sure it's going to go well. You're going to bless them, as I'm sure this has blessed you. I've had fun tonight.
Yeah.
Even though we've had a crying baby, it's pretty good. Have you guys had fun tonight?
Yeah.
Great.
That's what we're all about. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for next video. Love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Bye.